If you have $10,000 in savings and are wondering what is the best way to invest this $10,000, then in this video I will lay out all the possible investment options and tell you about the pros and cons of each investment option, which will help you decide which option would be the right choice for you. The right investment option will vary for each person and it will depend upon three primary factors. The first is the stage of life you are in, the second is your risk appetite, and the third is the goal you want to achieve. Keeping these factors in mind, we will analyze the pros and cons of each investment option, which will help you decide the right investment choice for your $10,000. My name is Kanak and welcome back to my channel. If you find this video helpful, then please show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. Let us start with the lowest risk option and then slowly move upwards in the risk category of each investment option. First, and one of the least risky ways would be to put your $10,000 in a high-yield savings account or a US government bond such as the short-term treasury bills. Currently, the interest rates on high-yield savings accounts and the government bonds is greater than 5%, which is abnormally higher than the average rate of less than 1% over the last decade. However, this might not last very long because the interest rates of these accounts is directly tied to the interest rate policy of the central bank of the country. And once the economy stabilizes, the Federal Reserve will start to lower the interest rates, which will lower your returns in these accounts. Secondly, historically, the returns on savings accounts and government bonds have hardly beaten inflation over the long term, which means the purchasing power of your money would only marginally increase by staying invested in savings accounts or government bonds. So, only if you believe you will need this money in the next 6 to 24 months for an upcoming expense or purchase, then you should consider putting your money in the high-yield savings account or government bonds. Also, in case you are close to retirement and do not have the appetite for risk or ability to hold it for long term, then these accounts would be the right choice for your $10,000. However, if you want to increase the purchasing power of your money over the long term and are okay with taking on more short-term risk, then investing $10,000 in fixed interest rate account might not be the right strategy. Now let's talk about the next investment option, that is real estate. $10,000 is not large enough amount to buy an actual real estate. But in case you are looking to get exposure to the real estate market and are also looking for a regular cash flow, then REITs or real estate investment trust could be an option that provides you direct exposure to real estate as well as regular dividend payments. Most REITs would have somewhere between 5 to 10% in annual dividend yield, which means you can expect to receive anywhere between $500 to $1,000 in annual cash flow by investing the $10,000 in REITs. But remember that although REITs offer a steady stream of income, but they carry similar risk to a stock. And specifically after COVID-19, the demand for certain types of real estate such as office spaces has decreased. So whenever you're investing in a REIT, you are also exposing yourself to the risk of the underlying real estate sector. REITs would be an option to invest if you're someone who has medium to high level of risk appetite and is looking for a steady flow of $500 to $1,000 annually. Now let's talk about the next investment option, which is more a long-term option and carries relatively higher short-term price fluctuation risk, that is stock market. If you do not need the $10,000 for a very long time, which means you do not need the money for the next 5 or 10 years, then investing the $10,000 in low-cost S&P 500 ETF such as WU or SPY would be the most optimal choice to generate maximum possible return while keeping your portfolio diversified. If you stay invested in S&P 500 for the next 10 years, then you can expect your $10,000 to multiply 2.5 times at 10% rate of return. So by the end of the decade, your $10,000 will turn into $25,000. But if you stay invested for 30 years, then your $10,000 will turn into $150,000 at 10% rate of return. Investing in the stock market would be the right choice if you are in very early stage of your career with a long time horizon, and also you have the mindset to be okay with the short-term price fluctuation because it will generate returns that will surpass the inflation over the long term. Waiting 30 years to get $150,000 does not sound very exciting. So the next best use of your $10,000 would be to start your own business. Compared to previously discussed investment options, this would be the most risky usage of your $10,000. But this can also turn out to be a life-changing investment. $10,000 is not a large enough amount that will allow you to buy real estate or live off your dividend income. However, if you're early to mid-stage in your career, then using the $10,000 to start a new business could turn out to be a life-changing event, which can produce outstanding returns. In the world of internet, you do not need large sums of money to start a business. You can start many businesses with less than $10,000. Some business ideas that you can start with less than $10,000 could be as simple as becoming a seller on Amazon, Etsy or eBay, becoming a content creator, opening a cloud kitchen to sell food delivery platforms, and if you have specific skill sets or expertise, you can start freelancing or providing consultation services, and so on. These small businesses will not only produce the maximum returns but also have the potential to completely change your life's trajectory. Now, the fifth way you can invest the $10,000 is by buying commodities such as gold or silver. Metals such as gold and silver are a good way to preserve your wealth and also offer an opportunity to diversify your portfolio. However, over long term, commodities will not significantly multiply your wealth after inflation. They are very good inflation hedge, which means they will preserve the value of your $10,000 in times of high inflation and provide diversification if you have already invested in other investment options. So if your aim is to preserve the value of money over the long term while achieving diversification, then commodities such as gold and silver could be an option. Investing $10,000 does not necessarily have to be an either or option, but rather you can choose to put the $10,000 across different investment buckets. That's all for this video, and if you find this video helpful, please show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel.